Wednesday morning here in San Antonio, where we have had some crazy weather lately. Today I'm so excited to have my friend Gary Huang on, and we are going to be talking about, well, let me just start by saying Gary has this amazing seven-figure seller summit. And I got to speak at the summit last year, and not only did I enjoy speaking, I also enjoyed learning from so many of the presentations. What's unique about this summit is that Gary pushes us speakers to speak on things that we have never spoke on anywhere else. Something new, something different. And so when you attend this summit, you're going to get something special from every speaker. And so you're going to want to catch every single thing that is presented at the summit. But what's so cool is this is Gary's 5th summit. And every time he has a summit, he writes up this kind of playbook, these lessons learned from every speaker, from all the attendees, from the things that he took away, those takeaways, those key takeaways from the summits. So it's really, really awesome. And we're going to talk about those top takeaways today. So stay tuned because you're going to learn something today and it's going to give you value. And we also want you to check out the 7-Figure Seller Summit. So I'm going to go ahead and put that link there as well. Sorry, I need to edit my ticker. So while I edit my ticker, I'm going to ask Gary to tell us a little bit about himself and his background.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Amy, for having me. And I'm super excited to be on today with you guys. As Amy mentioned, my name is Gary, and I'm an Amazon seller myself. I've been selling on Amazon for a number of years. I got started on e-commerce like many, many years ago, selling on eBay. So basically, I'm the founder and host of 7-Figure Seller Summit. It's entirely online. And my mission is to really help Amazon and e-commerce sellers build, scale, and exit their businesses. And I love the quote by Jim Rohn. He said, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." So I know a lot of sellers, myself included, sometimes we feel isolated. We're like a one-man show or a one-woman show. So I'm really trying to invite these 7-figure sellers to really come online so you can learn from them. You can surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurs, people like Amy, so you can really level up your business. And I feel like, especially this year, it's kind of a unique year. I mean, obviously, we're still trying to go out of the pandemic, but putting that aside, e-com is continuing to boom. Q4 is coming up really fast, and I'm super excited about that. But at the same time, this year is unique in the sense we're kind of going through this perfect storm of logistics challenges, the high shipping costs, shipping from Asia to the States, and also the delays coming out of factories. COVID is unfortunately, the Delta strain is making an impact in many factories. I just spoke with an 8-figure seller in China. He said one of his factories in Jiangsu province got affected by that. So they're experiencing another delay. And also the Amazon inventory restrictions that everybody is dealing with right now. So I'm really trying to help you guys by inviting these 7 and 8-figure sellers to share a little bit about what they're going through, their strategies to navigate through all these challenges so they can really win Q4 and you guys can learn from them and do it too. So that's kind of the story behind 7-Figure Seller Summit.
Awesome. So I'm so excited to have you here to talk about these takeaways. And it must be so cool to host a summit like this because I love recording my podcast because it's like it's that time that I have to set aside to learn from someone every week. And it's in your business. Sometimes you don't make the time to grow, but every time I make the time to grow, I grow. So yeah. It's just really incredible and impactful. And so I'm excited also to make the time to listen to these awesome presentations at the 7-Figure Seller Summit. So why don't we get into these takeaways? What would you say, Gary, is the number one takeaway that you've learned from previous summits?
Yes. So I would say, having interviewed over 100 7-figure sellers, Amazon sellers, e-commerce experts, there's a couple of things that keep resonating, and I just these are just my personal takeaways. But number one is something that has to do with the mindset, and I find that successful entrepreneurs, especially this year, they're very agile. They're very quick to pivot, almost like little speedboats going, through the ocean to catch fish. They're not like an ocean liner or the Titanic, right? So us as Amazon e-commerce sellers, we're not like the big corporate brand where, if they want to make a change of their factory or their 3PL, they have to go through layers of bureaucracy and finance and legal, etc. These successful entrepreneurs, they're really, changing so quickly. One of the perfect examples is an 8-figure Amazon seller, Cameron Walker, who I spoke with. Cameron is Canadian. He's based in China, actually, and him and his family run an 8-figure business. And he shared just within the past like 6-7 months, he really revamped his entire business. He's in the toys category, and he sells primarily on Amazon. So he, faced with these logistics challenges, he changed his 3PL. Like his previous 3PL was just like totally exploding and raising their price. So they had to change the 3PL. They had like 4 container loads of products they had to move around. He was like soliciting bids from different 3PLs. He changed his freight forwarder, even though they had a relationship for many years. Is right now the shipping prices are skyrocketing. We're seeing prices of over $20,000 a container, and where it was only like $1,300 before COVID, which is insane. So he had to change the freight forwarder, and then also with all of these Amazon inventory restrictions, we're seeing a lot of sellers have to pivot very quickly. They're using 3PLs. And Amy, you also shared as well, right? I mean, you're using a warehouse that's across your street. I remember.
Yeah, I have
we were
my
having
own warehouse, and I'm so
yeah,
grateful for that because it allowed me to quickly pivot during the pandemic, and it allows me to quickly pivot during these restock, these limited restock quantities. It allows me to quickly seed feed Amazon and my other channels. So I also use Deliver, which is a 3PL that helps me fulfill through Walmart and other channels. And it's the thing is, I'm very lucky that I have large margins on a lot of my products, and then the product that I have smaller margins on is made in the USA. So that's helpful. But I am seeing that as well. I'm seeing in my mastermind group, folks are finding new suppliers in South America, in Europe. They're doing anything they can to get out of China with there's not only, up shipping and logistics charges, but there's a lot of backlog in China that's causing people a lot of problems. And China is having labor shortage issues because they're quickly growing and changing. So yeah, I would say the need to pivot is so important. It's huge. It's like, okay, worry about what we can control. What can we control? And that's so key. So is anyone at the 7-Figure Seller Summit, will they be talking about these logistics challenges? And do we have a presentation on that?
It's actually like a pervading theme through, all of the sellers, right? I mean, everyone's doing different things. Some sellers like Zen Chen, he's using Chinese 3PLs. Like I asked him about this, and then he says that it's more cost effective to have all his products moved from the factories he uses into his Chinese 3PL, and they literally hold it there, and then they're sending shipments in at a faster frequency. So he says,
the smaller shipments that
smaller
you can get away
LTL.
with.
LTL rather than full container loads, because he's using a Chinese freight forwarder, and then they're able to consolidate different shipments, different Amazon shipments from China, and then putting it into a container to enjoy those savings. So
if we look at all of the major e-commerce sites, that are coming out of China, like one of my favorites is Shein. don't shop on Shein. I've gotten so many people hooked on that website. Like, if you were at Prosper and you saw me, like all my outfits from Prosper were from Shein, but it all comes out of China. And the prices are great, and it gets to your door in like a week and a half. And yes, it's not as fast as Prime, but for a greater selection and greater prices, people are willing to wait for it. So it's, and they are really efficient with their shipping. We think AliExpress has been around for a long time, and they're one of the leading, and Wish, some of these other e-commerce platforms where a lot of stuff comes out of China. And so smaller shipments out of China can be really cost effective. So that's something to look for. And you guys, the keyword there to look for that is fulfillment centers in China. And you'll find those. There's actually fulfillment centers like Gary was talking about. All right. Well, that's a really great takeaway. I love that. What else we got? What's the second takeaway?
Other than that, we're also, one of the common themes is don't put all your eggs in one basket, which is super risky. All right. So this theme, we're seeing sellers, doing this with their products, right? It's very risky to have just one hero product that's generating like the lion's share of your sales, and like minions accompanying that's generating a trickle, right? So what if something happens to that product? What if you get suspended? What if there's a quality problem? It can really sink your ship, right? So definitely you need to diversify your products. I spoke with one 7-figure seller based out of Pakistan, and then he really had an interesting product launch strategy. He actually launches with 5 products, and then he goes small and light. So his strategy is very,
so like 5 variations.
It's like five different type of products in the similar product line, and then they're all small and light, and then he can upsell them. So that way it cuts your risk.
Cross-sell them and make virtual bundles. And...
Yes. So I thought that was a very interesting strategy, because you're not putting all your eggs into like one product that you're launching, because if it doesn't get traction, then you're back to square one, right? So I mean, he's almost playing the law of probability. It's almost like an investor's mindset, right? You're like diversifying your stock portfolio. So, but still at a low cost. He's able to control that initial launch budget to $5,000 or even lower.
And he's getting 5 products out of that. And you think you can design the inserts on every one of those products. Check out this, save 20% off this. I mean, I love that idea. And all the things you can do on your own website and on other e-commerce channels with that. Really, really cool takeaway. So I just want to say hi to everybody who's watching on the stream right now. Hey, you guys, leave us a comment, say hello. We want to hear from you. Tell us, what you're learning from here, and whether you're excited about the summit and all of that stuff. Leave us some comments. We're happy.
And I'm curious, like, what are you guys struggling with right now? Like, if you can share what's your number one challenge, just so Amy and I can learn more, what you guys are dealing with. Maybe there was a session that's coming up that could help you overcome that, right? I think that could be one way we can add value. And I love keeping things interactive. I'm actually in Japan, Amy. It's like, I think you guys are the morning. I'm at 10 p.m. Wednesday night. So please keep me engaged as well. All right.
Keep Gary awake, you guys. Keep Gary awake. Well, hey, Andrew, it's so great to see you. Thanks for saying hello. And everyone let us know what your number one struggle is, because Gary might have some tips for you. I mean, he's got such awesome tips here. So don't put all the eggs in one basket. And something I learned from that too is for shipping purposes. Don't ship everything, whether you're shipping to Amazon or shipping from your supplier in China. Don't put everything in one container, because how many containers have been held up for months? How many shipments going to Amazon have gotten lost? So it's really, really important to do that. So
that's right.
Cool. Ayo has a question. Do we want to take a question now, or do you want to move on to the next tip and then we'll get to Ayo's question?
Yeah, if it's related to what we're talking about, absolutely. I'd love to keep this interactive, guys.
Okay, let's do it. So it's kind of related to our first tip, which was pivoting quickly. So Ayo says, what is the product launch strategy that is working post-COVID? So a new product launch strategy. And it's interesting because you talked about this person who was launching 5 different products, kept it small and light, and was cross-selling, right?
Yeah, I feel like so Saqib Azhar, he is a 7-figure seller. He's British Pakistani and he's based in Pakistan. And he actually runs the largest Facebook group of Amazon sellers in the world. I just was introduced to him recently. So he had this unique strategy where he focuses on small and light. So in addition to being able to launch 5 products at a lower budget, you also have the fact that these products are small and light, right? So you're able to ship them at a lower cost because you're not shipping like huge bulky type products. We're seeing that a lot of the sellers that are selling bulky products, they're really struggling right now. Ever since August 1st, I don't know
So
if you saw.
expensive.
Yeah, it's so expensive, and there was like an additional like general rate adjustment cost from the freight forwarders. It's like an additional $4,000 to $6,000 per container. So those guys are, if anyone's coming up on top, I think the freight forwarders, they're like making out like bandits with all the money that they're making, But
Well, and it's
anyways,
interesting. I heard
yeah,
that some people are,
yeah,
some of the freight forwarders or the shipping companies, I don't know who to blame,
yeah,
but I heard that they're holding on to some of the containers, and that's increasing instead of sending them back.
yeah.
And that's
There's a
increasing the
shortage
cost
of
again.
containers, I mean, just with COVID. I mean, that's a whole different topic we can talk about, for
Yeah.
another day. But
So I
yeah.
would say
Mhm.
the product launch strategy is mostly the same. It's the same strategy that worked before. You want to have a really great listing. You want to have great advertising, but ads have changed on Amazon. So the top of search ads are pushing the organic listings down. So you have to know what you're
Yes.
doing with advertising even more than
Yes.
before.
Yes.
And then the other thing that you have to learn to control post COVID is your costs, because
Yes.
with all these extra advertising costs and extra shipping costs, you need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what you can control, because the same launch strategy worked before, but the difference is it's more expensive now. So now we need to make sure that we don't just have those little 30% margins, or we don't have an extra large product. Look at some of your products, look at how you can break them down. One of ours, we sell a foldable product, and we folded it in a different way and saved over $10 per unit in Amazon
Mhm.
fees. So, what you've always done before, you might need to take a look at it and think about the ways that you can do better. What would you say, Gary, about product launch strategy post COVID?
I think you really hit the nail on the head, Amy. And that leads us to one of the other key points, which is focusing on the bottom line, right? Profitability, not just the top line, because the top line, 7 figures is kind of a vanity metric, because at the end of the day, it's the bottom line what really matters, right? Especially how much profit you can keep in your pocket. And especially if you want to exit your business, which is another big theme we're seeing this year. So in terms of launch strategy, this year we're seeing a lot of sellers, they're really tempering their expectations when it comes to their profit and loss statement, their profitability. They're seeing lower profitability due to the higher costs. Besides the higher shipping costs, there's also the raw material cost increases, the labor cost increases. So we're just seeing these costs rising all over the board, and also with Q4, the storage costs with Amazon. So we really have to be careful to know our bottom line. So I think Amy also, she mentioned a great point about optimizing your packaging, right? So one of the other 7-figure sellers also really optimized their packaging to be smaller and lighter weight than their competitors. So this way they can actually move down in the Amazon size tier. So if you're able to do that, you can shave possibly cents to even dollars, right? So that could really help with
Yeah,
your
for us, it was $10 for the same product on Amazon
that's
fees,
amazing.
because
That's
we
amazing.
went
I mean,
from, like, I think, what is it? Small. It was like extra large standard or something to regular
yeah,
size and
yeah,
to standard size. And that really made a huge difference for us. And,
yeah,
and I agree, so many people are wanting to sell their businesses. And I've worked with a lot of the aggregators and a lot of the folks that are responsible for helping people sell their business, like Fortunate. And I've seen that that the key struggle in there, and I'm working on selling my own business, and the key struggle is making sure that you're profitable, that your bottom line is still profitable. And that might mean taking another look at your products, because you need to have a product that you can control the price. Some of you might have to raise your prices. And if you're in a very, if you're competing against a factory on a commodity product, and factories, their struggle is they just aren't used to selling direct to consumer. They're used to selling wholesale. So they set their prices very low and they try to make up for it in volume. And,
that's right.
And so if you're competing against those factories, it's going to be very difficult for you to absorb extra shipping costs when they may have logistics options you don't have, like using fulfillment in China. And you also are going to have to compete on price and reviews. So another big thing about post-COVID launch strategy is making sure that you take a second look at your products and look at what you can do either to differentiate them in a way that matters to the customer, so you can raise your price without having to losing sales, right? But also in the future, how can you have really great margins? You can do that by differentiating in that way where you can control the price. You can charge a little bit more of a premium price for something. So definitely, I think that's going to have a lot of people focused on their products as well.
Yeah, and a similar point is when it comes to dealing with sourcing, right? Many of these sellers, they're putting all their eggs in one basket with just one factory, right? So, I mean, you have to be realistic nowadays because costs are going up. So if you're just, chained to that one factory, what if they increase their costs? Or even, God forbid, what if someone gets COVID at that factory and the whole factory gets shut down? Right. So we're seeing a lot of smart sellers diversifying, right? Having a backup factory. And also in terms of negotiations, I see that, Andrew had a question as well. My current struggle is ordering more inventory and a long lead time with my supplier. What are good strategies for negotiating price and lead time? I think one of the top strategies is using comparison, right? So Andrew, if you have shortlisted your suppliers to, let's say, three factories, you're able to use comparison. Like, you can get quotations from factory A, B, and C, and you can compete them against each other in terms of the pricing, in terms of the lead time. And I find that's one of the most effective ways of negotiation that you can work with. What do you think, Amy? How would you?
I think it's so important, Andrew, to make sure that you focus on your relationship with your current suppliers. I agree with Gary wholeheartedly that having more than one supplier, looking for different suppliers, making sure that you're not, your whole supply isn't, again, eggs in one basket. We talked about that in tip 2. But the other thing to really focus on is building a relationship with your supplier and having contracts. I was on a client call yesterday, and my client launched a really unique version of a product, and she didn't do a design patent or file for the copyrights. And now people are actually stealing her photos and her design. And she did so good. She just launched something small and her margins were excellent, but she didn't take the time to protect it with a contract with her supplier. So there's no guarantee that supplier is now not going to go sell her design to everybody else, right? So it's very difficult, and you need to focus on making sure that, number one, you talk to your suppliers on a regular basis, set up video calls, build those relationships with them, know who works there, and build a relationship with them. I realize we can't visit right now in person because of COVID, but I want you to work on building those relationships because that's going to go a long way. And secondly, after you build that relationship, I want you to have contracts. It's just good business to have things in writing. So if you don't have things in writing, and I get passionate about this, Gary, because this is something that I deal with constantly with sellers on coaching calls. It's like, what happened there? Why didn't we have those timelines on contract? Why didn't we have anything written in our contract for failed inspections or failed to deliver onto the timeline or inferior materials or warranty on our products? Those are things that you need to have a contract for. So get those things in writing. get you a Chinese attorney to draw up your contracts for you. There's plenty of them. You can find them on Upwork. You can ask your local attorney to recommend someone in China, but get help, draw up a contract, and that way you kind of know for each of your suppliers. Once you set up that firm foundation with one supplier, that's going to last you for years with that same supplier. You can have one contract. I do a general conditions agreement. That one contract can last me 3 to 5 years with one single supplier, and we cover our timelines and pricing and payment terms and all of that. So make sure that you're negotiating up front. You're getting to know your suppliers up front. You're building those relationships up front, Andrew, and get those things in writing, because it's just good business. Great question.
Excellent.
Right?
Yes.
So good. I love all this value we're giving, Gary. I love it.
This is awesome. Yes.
So I just want to say hello to Tim Windsor. He's here. He's always here. He's always
Good
here.
morning,
He
Tim.
always supports our YouTube channel. So appreciate you, Tim. And Ao's giving some thumbs up. So appreciate you guys this morning. It's morning here in the US, but we've got time zones all over the world. So with that, let's get into another tip. Gary.
Definitely. I like what you shared about the contracts, and that relates to one of the other key takeaways. Whatever gets measured gets managed. So this is a quote by Peter Drucker, one of the biggest business management gurus through the years. And we're seeing that successful sellers, they really have all their documentation in order, having standard operating procedures, systemizing their businesses. And this is important not only as you scale your business, which is one of the biggest challenges of seven-figure sellers, but also if you consider an exit, buyers like to see that. They like to see if you have SOPs. This way, the transferability is a lot more seamless. I know like a lot of sellers, and I've been guilty of this as well over the years. We're kind of like, thinking we're a one-man or one-woman show. We're doing everything ourselves. But guys, you really have to start documenting everything you're doing, and consider hiring that VA. And then if you're able to create the SOP, then you can take it off your plate to him or her, so that you can work on your business and not in your business. So that's one of the keys in terms of whatever gets measured gets managed, and then measuring also all of your little costs and expenses running an Amazon business. I know everyone's really excited about growing their business, launching that new product, but at the same time, sometimes you gotta measure, all of the expenses. And one of the examples are with Amazon reimbursements, right? So whenever Amazon loses your inventory, whenever Amazon has damage of your inventory in their warehouse, and sometimes they mismeasure your product sizes. I've had this happen to me. If you don't file a case to claim those back, Amazon's just gonna pocket that money. So a lot of sellers are really leaving money on the table. And you know what I mean?
I completely agree. Like many sellers, we have a little reimbursements course where we just walk you through how to file your own reimbursement. Plus, there's really great reimbursement services that'll do it for you, and you just pay them a small fee of what you get back, so you have nothing to lose. Like our folks at Gadita.
Speaking of Gatita, they're one of our sponsors, so quick shout out to them. And they gave and Yoni Mazur gave an awesome session on how to do that, how to unlock these profits. But
the first time I filed for a reimbursement a few years ago, the first time I filed for one, I got over like $2,000 back. Awesome, and I had only been selling like consistently. I've been selling since 2007, but this is when I jumped back in and started kind of doing more of a full-time store thing. And I had only been selling for like less than a year, and I got all that money back. So if you have been selling for years and you have never filed a reimbursement, imagine how much money you're leaving on the table.
Exactly. And guys, keep in mind, Amazon only allows you to do this in the past 18 months. Okay, so don't put it off. I know some of you guys may be selling for years, right? So, it's that 18-month window. That's the chance for you guys to claim it back. And if you guys would like to get a free pass at the summit, Gatita is offering $400 in Amazon reimbursements for free, no cost to you. They're offering the special offer at the summit. So I think that's a no-brainer if you do want to get that. I mean, obviously Amy is showing you how to do this yourself, which is fine, but if you don't have the
No, I
time,
completely agree that
definitely
not everyone
consider
has
that.
time to do it themselves, and it's a very manual process. So it's good to learn the process of doing it yourself, but it's also really good to hire it out, because unless you can build that into your SOPs, you're not going to do it. So
Exactly.
I've used both. I've used the managed services, which I like, and then at first when I did it, I learned to do it myself just so I would know, like, okay, what's involved in this and what kinds of things can get reimbursed. And then I hired it out because I was like, okay, I don't really want to open up. You have to open up like 20 cases to get and deal with seller support.
Seller support. Yeah.
Let Katina take care of that for you.
Let the experts do that. And you only pay them if you get paid. So if you don't get anything, you don't have to pay them anything. So definitely that's one of the ways whatever gets measured gets managed, right? And I think another thing a lot of sellers have been overlooking is slow moving inventory. And a lot of sellers, myself included, sometimes we have some winners, but we have some some non-winners, some losers, right? So they've been stuck in Amazon's warehouses gathering dust, and they're racking up the long-term storage fees, right? In addition to just like the mind space they take in your head. So one of our 7-figure sellers, Sophie Howard, she shared ways that you can really get rid of this inventory. There's different options, liquidation, and then it really it helps you 2 ways, right? One is to cut out those long-term storage fees, and 2, actually, this hurts your Amazon IPI score, your inventory performance index, which will limit your Amazon inventory.
More in.
Yeah. So it's actually like a double whammy. If you're able to get it out and cut out some of the slow moving inventory, it should help to boost your score. So this can help alleviate some of those problems. Yeah, absolutely.
That Amazon has they have a new liquidation program. And so if you go if you're looking for liquidation, I get this question all the time, like, Amy, where can I liquidate slow moving inventory? Amazon is liquidating it now. So you have that convenience. So all you do is you go into your inventory, you click that little edit drop down on the right-hand side on your manage inventory screen, and you click create removal order. And it's okay, you're not removing it. There'll be an option in there when you create that removal order to choose liquidation. And they'll walk you through the steps, and you can click the little liquidation button, and Amazon will make you an offer on your inventory, and it'll get sold in other ways. So if you're looking to free up space, the other thing that I learned from Chelsea at SoStock on inventory management is that if you are out of stock of one of your products, that also, your sell-through is what limits your restock ability. So if you're out of stock of one of your products, and that's counting against how much more you can send back in. So also try and manage your inventory overall so that you're limiting stockouts.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're full of tips today. Imagine how many tips. I mean, Gary asks all of us speakers like tip questions at the end of our presentations. So not only do we have to he's a tough summit leader, but he's effective. And that's why the 7-figure seller summit is so awesome. But he asked us for those tips. And we have to give our best
I'm a seller myself, so it's by sellers for sellers. I ask the tough questions because I'm curious myself, right? So, but Amy gave an awesome session, and actually that leads us to our next tip, our next takeaway. Can I talk about that next?
Yeah, let's do it. Moving on to tip 6.
Yes, tip 6 is to think outside the box, outside of Amazon. To find profitable products, right? Because it's so competitive now. What works like in 2016, 2018 isn't working today, right? So I know there's still a lot of people that use like the same tools out there. And the thing is, if you start out at the same place as everyone else, you end up at the same place as everyone else. So what might look good right now in that tool, if you're using the same criteria and filters as everyone else, is 3 months down the line, there could be hundreds of other people selling the exact same product, right? So we're seeing a lot of these 7-figure sellers use different types of product selection approaches. And Jason Tay is a seven-figure seller based in Australia, and then he uses kind of a hybrid approach. So he finds profitable products both using a keyword-based approach, but also he considers PPC as one of his key factors. So he looks at the search results, and he looks at the sponsored brands, the headline ad, if there's any relevant ads related to this search query. If not, then it's a green light. So we're seeing different new ways in product selection to find profitable products. And other,
that's what I'm talking about at the summit, is how to find
exactly. I wanted to highlight your
Um,
session next. Amy, would you like to share more about your avatar based approach? I'd love that.
Yeah, so I'm talking at the summit all about, I love to study the market, and I'm teaching you how to expand in your existing niche on my presentation. So a lot of sellers struggle. They'll launch like they'll find one successful product, or sometimes even two successful products, but they're not necessarily related, right? Like, okay, I'm in 4 different categories and I'm not, and the reason that they're struggling is because they just can't think of something else they can sell to their audience or other audience members that they're missing that they haven't sold to yet. So it's, I teach you in my session how to break down your avatar and how to think about different aspects of a person or a niche that you can sell to. And this is hopefully going to give you so many ideas that you can then use the rest of your techniques that have worked for years to narrow in on, looking at, interest, looking at all of those things. So this is a technique that I've used for years, that I teach in my course, and it's very successful. The folks that have gone through our course and have done this, used this strategy, have had a 100% success rate at launching those products, because they can control the price and because they're speaking to the market. They're first to market with a product that no one else has. So it just sells really well, that people are actually searching for. And you're not going to find that on product research software, because product research software shows you what's selling, and then you have to guess at how to differentiate. But if you find the customer first, you're going to figure out how to differentiate, and then you can just launch a product to them. I love the saying, find your buyer. Find your buyer before you go to sell a product. So that's what we're covering, and something that I'm really passionate about, and I love to do. It's fun.
100%, and I highly recommend that you guys get your free pass to Seven Figure Seller Summit, so you can check out Amy's session in addition to the other over 25 sessions we have from Seven Figure Sellers. I think
yes, 25 sessions. I'm so excited. All right, let's cover the next tip. What do we got next, Gary?
All right, so the next one is PPC, Amazon PPC. It's becoming more and more a pay-to-play game, Amazon PPC. Why is that? Because I don't know about you, Amy, but whenever I search for something on Amazon now, the top of the search results is just bombarded with ads, right? You have the headline ad, you have like the sponsored brands ads, and you have like the new video ads coming on. So it's like the organic search results a lot of the times are pushed to like the number 4 result, or even like the second row, right? So if you're not getting a piece of the PPC action, you're really missing out on that prime real estate that buyers see first. So that's why it's becoming so much more important. At the same time, according to the PPC experts I've spoken with, the cost of ads are going up, and the reason for this is ever since March, Amazon is actually experiencing a kind of a sales dip, right? If you look at your BSR, a lot of sellers, they're kind of like scared, so they're just like pouring money into PPC to try to boost their sales, right? So that's resulting in the cost of ads going up. So with the PPC experts that I spoke with, Brian Johnson, he runs Canopy, and he's overseeing like $1 billion of ad spend from his Amazon clients, seller clients. He gave a really good training on listing optimization. So guys, before you spend a ton of money on PPC, you really have to make sure your listing is converting, right? Really pay attention to your conversion rate, to your images, to your title, and how your ad looks compared to your competition. So Brian gave an awesome masterclass on how to stand out, how your listing can stand out in the search results. He had a live example about cake decorating kits, right? So it was amazing, because if you look at the search results, it was almost like a carbon copy of, like,
At the
dozens
same
of
product.
the same
Yeah.
thing, right? The
I know.
same thing, the same arrangement,
And
nothing really stood out.
Brian and I share this passion, and Brian's here in San Antonio, and we share this passion for listing optimization and for changing it up and really speaking to the customer and connecting psychologically to the customer. And so him and I can talk about that for hours, and we're just like, yes, because it makes a huge difference. Like, if you change, like the folks that have changed their listings using these strategies, I have like a 7 photo strategy that takes people through there. And it's similar to what Brian teaches. So you kind of get the same thing, but the results we've seen is people go from like immediately, just from changing their photos, from 5% conversions to 30. And that's without even adding any extra SEO into the listing. And then imagine when you add the right SEO. So it's just, I mean, it really makes a huge difference. And in listing reviews, that's something I see a lot. I want to say hello. We have a few other folks here. We've got Angel's here saying good morning, guys. We've got Nathan
Welcome,
here.
Angel.
He said, I just became a 5-figure seller. That's amazing, Nathan. Seriously, it's the first step.
Congratulations, Nathan.
That's so awesome. And then we have Karina, excuse me, is here as well. And she says, hi, great info. Thanks. And Tim says, thanks for the shout out. Andrew says, thanks, guys. So just appreciate you guys for being here. Let's keep the tips coming, Gary. What do we got next?
Awesome. All right, let's keep going. The next tip is in terms of external traffic. Okay, driving external traffic is becoming more and more critical to Amazon selling. Why? Because Amazon is really you're giving a boost in ranking when you're driving external traffic. So one of the 7-figure sellers that we had on is Mike Jackness, and he really explained the importance of driving external traffic to help your rank. And then he's also doing a lot of stuff with authority websites. So he's building authority websites related to his avatar and his niche, and he's driving traffic that way. So he's enjoying a significant boost in his Amazon product ranking from external sites. Also previously we had on the summit Matt Singers, and he showed how to use affiliate marketing, reaching out to affiliate websites that are Amazon affiliates. They get Amazon commissions, and they're creating reviews, like top 10 lists for for your products, for your niche, like pet products, kitchen products. So you can leverage that as well, and then you can also enjoy a ranking boost from that. And the other thing is related to external traffic is video marketing. So we're seeing a lot of interest in TikTok. We had Mayan Gordon come on, and she has over 2 million followers on TikTok. She runs a glass gift product line.
She has a couple of glass blowing channels with like over 5 million followers on each, and she's generated like billions of views online. She's a LinkedIn coach. I just had her in my mastermind group the other day teaching us how to build our LinkedIn profiles.
Really? Wow.
She's incredible. Wow. She is such a shining star. If you guys haven't caught anything by Mayan yet, she's going to be in the 7-figure seller summit.
Yeah, she's going to be on day 2, talking all about the future of video marketing for e-commerce, TikTok. So one of the key takeaways is external traffic, guys. Definitely look into that. And then Amazon just really introduced a new Amazon brand referral scheme. I think Amy probably already mentioned this to you guys, but it's a 10%, 10% kind of like a cash back in your Amazon fee if you use Amazon attribution. We have Paul Harvey. He's an expert in that. He's going to tell you how to do that, how to implement that. So you're not only getting the boost in ranking from your external traffic, Amazon is going to
They're going to
pay
pay
you
you.
10%. Yeah, they're going to pay
Talk
you
about
10% back.
that. We just set ours up. We do Google ads to our Amazon listings, and we just set ours up. And we haven't seen any results yet. And it uses Amazon attribution, and Amazon attribution used to be kind of clunky. So I'm hoping that this new program helps them to step up their game with Amazon attribution, and we can all benefit from it. But it was super easy to set up. So definitely check out that presentation and get it set up. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
And we always find that, when things first come out, it's a lot easier to reap the benefits of that before everyone else rushes in, right? So maybe a lot of your competitors are not aware of that yet. So you can really cut your expenses that way. And think about that 10% just goes back to your pocket. It's profit, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have covered 10 top takeaways. I'm going to go through these takeaways one more time, and then we're going to wrap up the show and tell you guys how to get into the 7-Figure Seller Summit. There's a link right up there, bit.ly/AAH7FSS. So check that out. You can sign up. Let's go through the tips. So the first tip was that successful e-commerce sellers are quick to pivot. We talked about pivoting, moving things around, getting things done. We took some questions. That was great. Tip number 2, successful e-commerce sellers don't put all their eggs in one basket. That's either with shipping or products or suppliers. We don't put them all in one basket. Tip number 3, successful e-commerce sellers focus on the bottom line because it's so important to be profitable if you want to make an exit. So we also need to make sure that we're profitable and we're controlling our costs and what we can control. We talked about a lot of tips there. Tip number 4, successful e-commerce sellers know that whatever gets measured gets managed. So remember to think of your business as, hey, if I were to hand it off tomorrow, what would happen? Really think about what needs to be measured in your business, how to track it, what to do, and build out those SOPs for a successful business there. Tip number 5, successful e-commerce sellers pay attention to slow moving inventory. That can affect your restock quantities, all of that, which everybody's, doing. So don't forget about Amazon's liquidation. We talked about that. Go back and watch it if you missed it. And tip number 6, successful e-commerce sellers think outside of the Amazon box for profitable products. So we're not just looking on Amazon tools, we're doing other things. We're finding other ways to look up keywords and everything else. And there's going to be lots of tips on that at the 7-Figure Seller Summit. Tip number 7, successful e-commerce sellers are good at Amazon PPC. As we talked about, top of search is getting more expensive. There's more ad placement there now. We got to learn it. People don't scroll past page 1. So if we're not on page 1 for relevant keywords, we've got to learn Amazon PPC. So check out those things, and you're going to learn that at the 7-Figure Seller Summit. Tip number 8, successful e-commerce sellers drive external traffic. I love external traffic. And we talked about taking advantage of Amazon's new referral bonus program. You can go right in Seller Central underneath the brands tab and click on referral bonus, and you can set that up. But definitely check out the session on that because you got to have some external traffic to set that up. And we're going to cover that at the 7-Figure Seller Summit. Okay, tip number 9, successful e-commerce sellers use affiliate marketing. Hello, get other people to sell your products. Come on, we need influencers. We need affiliates. People want to make money. And so give them the opportunity to help you sell your products. And we're going to learn about that at the 7-Figure Seller Summit. And tip number 10, successful e-commerce sellers use video marketing. Video is the future. Think about TikTok, think about YouTube, think about all of the places where you can get your products in front of an audience. Take up that space on the internet. You can do it on Pinterest. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on TikTok. You can do it on Amazon. You can do it on Amazon Lives, Amazon Posts. There's so many places to get your product featured. Make some videos. I mean, I hired somebody on Fiverr for $40 to take just my Amazon listing, and they created with stock video footage an incredible video that I use for my video ads. People, you have no excuse. Get moving. Attend the 7-Figure Seller Summit. We got the link right there. You've got no excuse. How much is it going to cost them to attend the 7-Figure Seller Summit, Gary?
It's free. We have a free pass. Yes, we have a free pass for you guys. You can watch. It's a 5-day event. Every day once we go live August 16th, you can get all the sessions unlocked for 24 hours for free. All you got to do is just go to that link, enter your email address, and you'll have your free ticket, all the details in your inbox. So I really think it's a no-brainer.
Oh my gosh.
You guys have been awesome. Can I offer a bonus tip? Like there's one other thing I really want to share with you. Is that okay with you? Are you sure?
You can always offer bonus tips,
Okay.
Gary.
All right. I just want to be sure. All right. Okay. The last tip. All right. For a lot of you guys, the end game, right? Why are we doing this? Right? Exits, selling your business. Many sellers, they overlook the fact that a seller's ultimate payday, like over 50% of your lifetime, your payday from your business is going to come when you sell your business. Okay. It's going to be more than the salary that you pay yourself every month. And I've spoken to many sellers that have successfully exited. Many of them, when I asked them, why did they sell? They said, they love their business. It's like their baby, but at the same time, it's very risky, right? I mean, it's probably worth more than your car, or even worth more than your house for a lot of you guys that are already at that level, right? So think about it. It is very risky, especially if, Amazon is controlling all of that. And what if, one day they suspend you, right? I mean, we've seen it happen many times. So that's why it's very important. And the last day of the event is really dedicated to preparing your business for an exit, structuring your business to sell it. We have 8-figure sellers that successfully exited their business. We have experts that show you the common mistakes, what not to do. I think probably the biggest mistake is waiting too long, not preparing for it. So no matter if Nathan just became a 5-figure seller, he's probably not going to exit anytime soon, but I think it's good to at least know, at least your books, right? You want to do accrual accounting. You don't want to do cash-based accounting. You'll learn more about that at the summit. That could add tens of thousands of dollars to your bottom line.
I learned that lesson the hard way. I was doing the wrong kind of accounting for the first couple of years in my e-commerce business. I had to redo, I had to find a new accountant and redo everything. And then now preparing to sell has actually, I went and got some help to prepare to sell my business from an amazing provider, Fortinet, and they helped me realize what would keep my business from a better valuation. So even if you're not ready to sell yet, Nathan, you're at 5 figures, you're going to totally grow that to 7 figures. Yes. We know it, but start with the end in mind. And what you're going to gain by watching these folks that are experts at helping people exit is how you need to set up your business now to exit successfully in the future and get as top dollar for your business as possible. So for me, going through this process, I'm not ready to sell yet. I'm going to try to sell next year. But this year, I am focused on so many pinpoints that I was helped with. And now we're seeing higher profits. Our tacos is down to 9%, which is amazing. That's the lowest it's ever been. We know what to measure. We said whatever gets measured gets managed. We know what to measure. So you guys, you can't miss. You cannot miss these exit strategies. You've got to learn them now so that you can set up your business now and you can start working on those things that need to be measured and managed.
100%. And, we covered a lot today, guys. I feel like these are just my personal top 10 takeaways. I mean, I'm sure when Amy watches, she's going to have her top 10. I'd love to hear what your top 10 are, but I'd love to invite you guys to come on to join Amy's session and also catch the over 25 other sessions. Link is below for a free ticket. I think it will help you guys a lot, especially right now. We're navigating through this perfect storm, all of these Amazon inventory restrictions, higher costs. I think it will help you guys a lot. And I just appreciate being on, Amy. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Gary. There was so much value that you gave us today. And I know that this audience, whether they're sleeping right now and they're going to catch it later, or whether they attended today, I know that they're going to get so much value out of this, and they're going to get so much value out of the free 7-figure seller summit. You guys, all of us speakers are giving you information we haven't taught anywhere else, and you can get it free. I mean, you got no excuse. So get on it. That's an order. But anyway,
listen to Amy, guys. Listen to Amy.
I love you guys. I love this community. You guys are amazing. Gary, thank you so much for being on today at 10 o'clock at night in Japan. It's probably 11 now. We're going to let Gary go to sleep.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, guys. I hope it was useful. And yeah, thank you, Amy, for having me on. It was super fun to be here. It's been awesome. So I'm super grateful.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you all. Everybody said thank you so much. Karina says she's going to be there. So just appreciate you guys for being here, and for those catching the replay, and we'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to check out my tip that I posted on my YouTube channel yesterday about how to use Trendly, which is a trend where you can find new Amazon products. It's like an 8-minute video, you guys. So check that out as well. We're really revamping our YouTube channel. We're bringing all the best content, including Gary here today. So awesome. All right, everyone, have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. And we will see you at the 7-Figure Seller Summit. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Amy. Bye, everyone.